Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and I hope you guys are having a great week. Today's video is going to be a review on a new foundation I've been testing out for the last week, and it is the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. Like I said, I have been testing this out for a week now. I've tried it with different primers, I've tried it with different application tools, so I have pretty good footing on what I think about it. If you are new here to my channel, I do have very dry skin. I do suffer from the monthly breakout from a friend. Us women get monthly, so I do have some blemishes on my face that needed to be covered. I do have some redness around my nose like most women get, so I do have a good bit that I'd like to cover up. So I did put this foundation to the test and I definitely have a lot of thoughts about it. The first half of this review is going to be just basically talking about the foundation, what it claims to do, price, shades, all that. The middle is going to be a demo of how I apply it, and then the last step is going to be basically me talking about my final thoughts on the foundation and whether or not I would recommend it or not. I did switch up my lens and my lighting, so if this looks different than my other videos, that's why. Let me know if you like this down below or if you don't really notice a difference. I just tried to move things around and I did switch back to my Sigma lens. I have been using my Canon 50mm lens since around Christmas, and I just kind of went to switch back because I really like this lens too. So let me know which one you like better down below. But let's go ahead and jump right into this review. Okay, I have notes in front of me that I've been taking all week, and just kind of notes about the foundation as well. Okay, so this is what the packaging looks like on the inside. Thank God it does come with a pump, which I very much so appreciate. I did have to go buy a pump for my Nars Sheer Glow, because that did not come with a pump, which was annoying. But here's the packaging. It does come in 33 different shades, so go Nars. It does retail for $49, which is actually $2 more expensive than the Nars Sheer Glow, and you do get 1 fluid ounce of foundation, which is a pretty standard amount. This foundation claims to be medium to buildable full coverage, so you are able to build upon it and it should not get cakey or creasy or just mask-like. It's supposed to be very, very lightweight and breathable. It also claims to be transfer-proof and fade-proof, which is a big claim. It also claims that you can wear it for 16 hours, which is a very long time, and I did put that to the test. This also is supposed to have raspberry, watermelon, and apple in it to help it be non-drying, and it is supposed to improve your skin the longer you wear it, so it's supposed to look better throughout the day as you wear it, and obviously I put that to the test as well. I do have the second to lightest shade in the range, and it is called Mont Blanc. It is a very good color match for me. I don't notice any lines of demarcation. I do notice very, very, very slightly that it does oxidize on me after application within a few hours. I do notice the foundation getting slightly dark, but it's not too bad to where I need to switch a shade or anything like that. It's hardly noticeable. So this foundation does have some pretty big claims. To claim to be completely full coverage longwear foundation but yet remaining lightweight and breathable, I find that like really hard to find. I usually use the Estee Lauder Double Wear when I want a really full coverage, but it is very, very heavy. So like I said, I've been using this foundation for 1 week now. I bought it last Saturday at Sephora. You can get this at Sephora, Ulta, or Nars.com. I will link it down below if you want to go ahead and check it out. But let's go ahead and jump into the demo of this, and then I'll give you my final thoughts at the end. Okay, I went ahead and moisturized my face with the Estee Lauder Day Wear here. And I'm basically doing the steps that I do every single day. I don't like testing out foundations and not using like the same moisturizer and primer, because then I feel like I can't get a good footing on whether it works or not. So I keep everything like that the same. I do usually use the Farsali Rose Gold Elixir drops, but I did find that it did not play well with this foundation. It did tend to break up the foundation really badly around my mouth and nose and forehead. So I do not use that with it. So I have been just using that moisturizer and then my Milk Makeup Blur Stick. And then I'm just going to cover up these blemishes from my monthly friend really quick. The foundation is full coverage, but my breakouts are so red, it still peeks through, so I do have to cover any redness I have just because my red is like so red. Now I'm going to go in with the Nars foundation, and my color is in Light 2 Mont Blanc. And it does say to shake very well, so we're going to shake. Sorry if my voice sounds sleepy, I just woke up. So as you can see, the pumps are fairly small, and you don't need a lot. I tend to use a lot. I'm an overuser of foundation. I probably use more than I should, but I'm going to go in with 3 pumps to start out. And I'm just going to dot this all over my face. It does work very well with a beauty blender. However, I have not been using it that way because it shears it out a little too much for me to where I have to use even more product than I am now. And it, like I said, it shears out the coverage, and because I am breaking out so bad from hormones, I need all the coverage I can get. And the 2 brushes I've been using the most with this foundation is the Morphe M439 and then the Artiste number 7 brush. Not sure what I want to go in with today. We'll go in with the Artiste brush because this really blends it out beautifully and pretty quickly. So I'm just going to go ahead and start swiping and blending that out. And as you can see, this is very full coverage, but it's so light on the skin. And this brush, like, it's just amazing. It just does all the work for you. What I really love about this foundation is that even in dry patches, it doesn't cling to them. Even though I used 3 pumps of foundation, it does not look cakey whatsoever. It kind of looks very skin-like. It's not like dewy, but it's not really matte. It almost has like a very velvety matte, like almost skin-like appearance. It just looks so pretty on the skin. It also does not crease in any of my wrinkles or fine lines. However, it did crease when I used that Farsali Rose Gold Elixir. It was creasing horribly here, which I usually don't have creasing there. So I am noticing still some of my blemishes peeking out. So I'm going to take like a half a pump, like literally the tiniest bit. And I'm just going to plop it on there and plop it on my zits and a little bit on my nose just because I had some left over. And we're just going to blend it out with, what is this? The Sigma P84. Okay, so this is basically the application I do. I usually just go in and go back over any areas I want to cover more with just a tiny bit of foundation instead of doing a whole other layer of foundation. I like that there's still a luminosity to my skin. When I turn, there is some glowiness to my cheeks. It's not very, very flat. It's just a very pretty foundation. It does last a very long time. I did notice that. However, I do get a bit oily around my nose and my chin area, and it does tend to break up around the 7-hour, 8-hour mark, depending on how much I'm touching my face. But it probably would last longer if I didn't touch my face so much. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my face, and now we're going to jump over to my final thoughts. Okay guys, my final thoughts on this foundation is that I actually have been really enjoying it. I really do like it. Now in the demo I did talk about using it with different primers, and I did notice that using a oil as a base or as a primer did not play well with this foundation. It did make it break up on me really bad, like around my nose and mouth area. I did end up having to remove all the makeup I had on and reapplying it. I do think it works better with a more like emollient, I guess that's the word. I don't know what word I'm trying to use, but a non-oily primer. I think it does work better with that. Also, I do notice that it 100% does start looking better throughout the day. When I first put it on, the very initial first application, I was like, ugh, I don't know about this. It started looking like really gross around my nose and kind of around my mouth, and I did not like that. Almost every foundation does that to me. I don't know why. It just never looks good around my nose or my mouth. And this one still does that, but I did see improvement throughout the day. Like within an hour, it definitely looked better, but it still can be a kind of cakey looking around the crease of my nose and kind of right here in my mouth area. But overall, the entire application does tend to look better throughout the day. I noticed it does not cling on to any of my dry patches from my blemishes. However, if I have very bad, red, inflamed, angry blemishes like I did in the demo video, it does not cover them up completely. You can still see them through the foundation. So I do have to use a concealer beforehand and even put on a second coat of the foundation after to fully cover those up. I do also notice that some of my freckles still peek through. If I have like really minor like blemishes or just areas of coverage that I like to cover more, it does do that, and I'm not sure how it covers so great but then still lets your skin breathe through and you can still see kind of your natural skin. I do really like that aspect of it. However, like I said, if I have a very red, inflamed, angry breakout, it is not covering that to my liking. I do notice that it is not matte whatsoever. It is not very dewy. It's kind of a nice in between where you have this natural luminosity to your skin. It doesn't look heavy or cakey, and I do feel like I'm not wearing any foundation. I do feel like the claims of it being lightweight are 100% accurate. It is lightweight. Even though I put on like another layer, it doesn't feel heavy. I feel like I can wear this foundation on the daily and feel comfortable. Like I will wear very, very full coverage foundations, but that's usually either if I'm filming or I'm going out at night just for a few hours, because I hate the feel of heavy foundation on my skin and just heavy powders. Like I just end up getting like almost claustrophobic where I just want to wipe it off. I cannot stand it. And this half the time, this week I was just wearing the foundation with some brows. I didn't put any other makeup on, and I would get ready to go to bed. I'm like, oh, I don't have to wash my face. I didn't put makeup on. I'm like, wait, yes I did. Like I forgot it was there. It did last a very long time on my skin. It's about 8 to 9 hours. I didn't notice the 12-hour mark. It did start breaking up around my chin and my nose area around, depending on what I was doing and how much I was touching my face, between 7 to 9 hours. I do touch my face a lot. I know that's a problem and I probably should stop, but I just do. For me, it did not last 12 full hours, and I have dry skin. So someone with oily skin, I don't know how it would really last 12 hours on them, because I have dry, but I am oily around my nose, my chin. Like this area here is oily. So foundation does tend to break up more on me there. I didn't do any touch-ups throughout the day. I'm sure it'll last longer if I brought some powder with me and did touch up with it, but I did not. It does play very well with my concealers, my bronzers, my blushes. It doesn't move around. Like I hate when I put a foundation on and then I go to blend some bronzer in and it's picking up the foundation. It did not do it with this. The concealer I used with it, I tried the Urban Decay, I'm having brain fart, Naked Concealer. Lord, the Urban Decay Naked Concealer is what I have on today. It's my favorite concealer. It's what I use on the daily. That played very nice with it. And I also use the Tarte Shape Tape. That I noticed if I used too much of it, my under eyes would be very, very, very full coverage, and you could kind of see the like full coverage and kind of more of a medium to full coverage. So if I use that, I did only like use a tiny little dots with it. Otherwise it didn't look right. But yeah, I think I covered everything. Would I repurchase it? Yes, I think it's a really good, comfortable foundation, and once I get rid of these blemishes, I think I'll like it even more. Oh yes, and I did use it with a beauty blender, and I think I talked about that in the demo. I did use it with a beauty blender, and I like that, and I think I'd like it even more again when I don't have as much to cover. It did soak up a lot more of the product. Obviously, but it almost mattified the product more so than the brush, which is really weird because you use a beauty blender or a beauty sponge to kind of give more luminosity to the skin, and it almost did the opposite. I noticed that I didn't get that luminosity that I got with the brush. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you want it to look more matte, maybe try using a sponge. But I liked it with the sponge. I preferred it with the brush just because I'm getting fuller coverage to cover my monthly friend who brought her other friend with her to play. But again, I really like this foundation. I do recommend it. I think it's lightweight. It is a bit expensive. I think it's a bit overpriced, $49. Like, it wasn't a miracle worker, but it is a very nice foundation. It does leave the skin looking very nice, and yes, I probably would repurchase it. I don't know if it's gonna take the place of like my Dior Forever foundation. I might do a wear test, like one on one half of my face and one on the other, just to see which one I like better. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, that was it for this video. I'm rambling now. I hope you guys enjoyed it and you found it helpful. And let me know down below if you have tried this foundation or any other foundations you would like me to try and review for you. Again, I hope you enjoyed it. I love you, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.